What's up, everyone? We are starting the 2024 regular season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're playing opening day here. I gotta tell you, man, the way that last season ended really killed me. It's hard to get going for this next one, but if it happens like that again, we may have to call it quits on the franchise or the dynasty, though. We've reached legendary status, so we've achieved that. So right now we're playing with house money. Legendary status as a GM, sorry. And but I feel like coming into this year, we had no money in the offseason. Absolute no money. So, but anyways, we'll get to this year coming up, but just want to recap some of the things that happened last year. Tristan Gray and Ke'Bryan Hayes both won Gold Gloves. Tristan Gray obviously at first base, Ke'Bryan Hayes at third base. Brendan McKay won in the game called Platinum Stick, but really that's Silver Slugger. So Brendan McKay, for his work as a hitting pitcher, won the Silver Slugger there. Tristan Gray received one first place vote for Rookie of the Year, and it allowed him to push toward a second place finish there. And then Brendan McKay, he didn't win the Cy Young, which it was Jack Flaherty from the Cardinals, but how many times am I going to say Flaherty? How many times? 4, 5, 6. But he finished ahead of him in the MVP voting. He finished fifth in MVP, but McKay also finished fifth in the Cy Young. So voters not huge on what McKay, or thought he could have done better as a pitcher, but liked what he provided as an all-around game. But yeah, in terms of, we didn't make any signings. We didn't make any trades in the offseason. I mean, if you look at our financial situation right now, we are $54 million in the red. So really, this is one of our last opportunities with this core before we have to tear it down, which is a shame, or potentially tear it down. You can see there's still some bad contracts. I mean, we're eating $19 million for Chris Archer. Currently $7 million for Evan White to sit in our Double-A team. So I mean, yeah, we have two really bad contracts here, but yeah. So I don't want to say blow it up, but yeah, it's we're gonna have to make some changes to I assume in order to compete moving forward. So and you'll see how that goes. Our interest dropped, and that was because I forget who we didn't sign, but. There's someone that Matt Boyd. Matt Boyd, we didn't extend him. We didn't have the money to, number one. But also, we signed him for I think $4 or $5 million. Or maybe it was a little bit more expensive than that, but not crazy. He signed with the Twins for $91 million this offseason. Talk about, a reclamation project there. So I'm pretty happy with what we did there. I thought that was pretty good. I thought we did well there. Unfortunately, you're seeing that payroll again was slashed, and that's the frustrating thing is when we were going through this offseason was, I don't mind not spending a lot on free agents, but don't slash the budget, But I mean, hey, this is typical. I mean, that's typical Bob Nutting right there. So, yeah, just kind of bummed about that we've put together, 3 playoff teams in our 4 years, and we're getting the budget slashed. So, whatever, we're gonna do what we can. We're not gonna blow this up if we don't have to. We're all in again to win the World Series. We'll see how it goes. We did end up losing the 4th most WAR in the majors. We lost about 7 games this offseason in WAR. About 4 of that was from Matt Boyd. So I think we can make that up other ways. But the Dodgers lost the most WAR this offseason, which was about 16.6 wins above replacement. So, hey, maybe this is the window. Maybe this is the time we jump in there and excel. So we're going to just go through a little bit of a pitching and lineup overview. First, we'll start with where everything starts, which is player development in our farm system. I think for the 4th year in a row, or 3rd year in a row or something, we are ranked the 1st out of 30th. And, the reason why is because Jared Kelly's moved up to the 3rd best prospect. We're going to graduate him this year. But then Juan Jerez, he's moved to AAA. And I like his development. If he could just develop a little bit more power. Remember last year that creeped up from I think 30 to 40 right now. So if he could get that up, a little bit more, get the contact and the eye up, he will come up as soon as possible. So I think I definitely think he might get some time this year. He could absolutely get some time. He absolutely will get some time next year. Jared Kelly this year, we're going to get big contributions from him. Yeah, I mean, you look at his ratings there. He's good against righties. He's good against lefties. And then he has some development to go too. We'll monitor him very early in the season, see if he gets rocked around a little bit. We might, maybe send him back to AAA or, might put him in the bullpen at first. But I want him up. It is time that these young players make a serious contribution. And maybe that speaks to our depth that they haven't had to so far. So I think that in terms of minor league systems, those are where we're going to see the big contributions this year from. And then if we look at the lineups, Swaggerty is again in AAA. He's starting. I just can't justify bringing him up to the major league level over Bleday and Martin. But that being said, Jaron Kendall is going to be on a short leash here. So is Bleday, to be honest. But he provides his OPS is just low, and I hate this 230, 240 hitting. That should barely keep you in the game, So I know the WAR is good, but I would like to see more out of him offensively. The power is, of course, nice. So we'll see. I think we could get similar production out of Swaggerty and a little bit more tailored to the offensive end, which, to be honest, that's what we desperately need. But Brian Reynolds, everyone looks like they improved this offseason. Cole Tucker, his base running has gotten even better. His defense has gotten even better. His hitting has settled in. He improved his gap power as well. It was not that high last year. So he's improved as a hitter. I would say he's one of the best hitting shortstops in the game at this point. Brian Reynolds, his rate. I'm sorry. I think his gap power increased a little bit. The defense decreased a tad bit, but I think that I think this year last year he kind of had a down year. I'm expecting more of a bounce back kind of year in terms of. All of his numbers are pretty much in line except for the power. The power number is what dropped off big time for him last year, and there's no reason to assume that we won't get back to that level. So. He played a little fewer less games than in years before, but that shouldn't mean anything in terms of that big of a drop-off. Tristan Gray, I'm really excited to get to the game. I'm rattling through all this stuff because I'm just excited to start playing again. Hopefully get a win. Tristan Gray, absolutely raked. You're going to have to expect some regression from him, but, you look at his ratings. He's set up to have a great year. Excited about that. Max Kepler. Again, I love the offense he provides here in terms of lack of strikeouts. If you look at it as a Pirate, he only struck out 37 times. He walked 32. That's huge, and that improved significantly from last year. I think that was down to 30 or 40 last year. So again, the defense went down a little bit, but I'm expecting big power numbers from him this year, which is what we didn't get from anyone last year. Keyboom. Again, he settled in very similar to Cole Tucker. Solid defensively. He's been a mainstay with us the entire time. Miguel Amaya. Again, you're getting a lot from him from a defensive perspective, nothing from base running. But again, he still has a little bit of room to improve on there. And then if you look at his splits, he hits left-handed pitching really well. I'd say better than the average. Jaron Kendall, we already went through him. And then Brian Hayes. The defense is there. The avoid Ks and the contact, I believe, went up a tad bit. And then I also think the home run power went up maybe 5 on the 20 to 80 scale. So would like to see more power from him, but at this point he kind of is what he is at 27. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a ton of late bloomers in baseball. But I think there's another gear hopefully he can get to there. So from a lineup perspective, I feel pretty comfortable. I think this is, the least amount of holes that I've seen in an opening day lineup, and that could be foolish to think, being that, we ended last year with half as many home runs as the Dodgers. We didn't score that many runs. But I just think that with the steps that have been taken this offseason with some of these players, I think it leads for a pretty good start. And I'm also not going to start with Tristan Gray at second base. I thought about that, but we're going to start with Keyboom. We're going to start with everyone in their natural best position. and whatever. And if we have to make adjustments, you guys know me. I am more than willing to make adjustments there. So we go on our pitching side. Again, feel very comfortable about our pitching. We're going to have Dustin May start the opener here. So, we have Brendan McKay, who, again, 5th in Cy Young voting last year, 5th in MVP voting. Dustin May, his curveball, he's become like a wipeout pitch at this point. We come to his ratings, and, he's a little bit above average there, but, I want to see his scouting report. Yeah, back end of the rotation. So we're a little bit more down on him than, or this computer's more down on him than I am. Mitch Keller. If you look at Keller, I don't like how this is trending though. The movement and control, I think that's decreased a little bit. If we go to his scouting, yeah, see, everything's decreased this past offseason. So it's funny. Well, here's the thing. Here's the key difference makers here. Brady Singer, I think things have improved for him this past. Yeah, you can see he's gotten better this past offseason. He has the makeup here in the ratings, gets the lefties and righties too, put together a very solid year. Much better than a 1.7 WAR, more like his 3.6 WAR he had 2 years ago. So I think if he can come in and produce at a high level, and then Jared Kelly can have a strong start to his career, and he showed it in the playoffs last year, I think that this team, will kind of even out to where we were last year in terms of pitching talent. And then I think our bullpen is fine. Largely holdovers from last year. No one really got progressively better or worse. I think Gallegos actually got a little bit better as terms of his ratings go. Matt Manning, again, elite stuff there. So, we have some questions in our long reliever spot, but just because, there's some questions there just based on lack of track record in the major leagues. But I think that there's Ryan Feltner was one of the, great minor league signing a few years back. I think he could provide some good innings out of the bullpen too. So I would say as a starting rotation, I probably feel worse than I have in a couple years entering the season. But pitching staff overall, I think I feel best. Last year when we came into the season, we were talking about 6-man rotations, limiting, innings, and I think we have depth here. If you go in our AAA, you still have De La Garza there that we could always call up as well. So I think there's depth there that we could that we'll be okay with, unless something crazy happens with injuries. But in terms of in terms of how I feel our team is, I feel more confident, I think, overall in its ability than we have at any other point in any other season, to be honest, really. And I'm not just saying that. I really do I feel like the young kids have finally taken a step forward, and we've worked through some of the growing pains, and we're about to crush. Alames, let's see what happened with him. Yeah, see, his contact went down. Still elite defensively and everything like that. So his base running went down a little bit, but still a solid piece. Oh, one other thing, too. We also hired 2 new coaches. We hired a new bench coach, and then we hired a hitting coach that focuses on power. So we'll see how that turns out. So the one thing I always like doing with you guys, I have not looked at it yet, is the preseason predictions here from out of the park. See where they think we're going to finish. I like to do that together live for natural reactions. Not that I get crazy anyway, but we did win the NL Central, which I don't know why they have it like this. We won the, we finished well in the Grapefruit League, I guess, if you want to look at the end. It finished in terms of where the Central teams finished. We did pretty well. Finished a game above the Cardinals, shocker. But it looks like the Cubs, Reds, and Brewers had down years. So, down spring training. So maybe that means down years completely. We'll see. Again, Braves, Dodgers, up at the top there. So we'll see how that goes. So let's see. Let's check preseason predictions. Let's see where they think the Buccos are going to end. Okay, who cares about the AL? Forget about the AL. Screw them. All right, Braves 102 win team there. They're projecting. Not really surprised. Let's see. NL Central. Okay. All right. Project us. I think this is the most they projected us for in a long time, actually. 92 wins. I think before it's been like, 8 in the mid 80s or low 80s. So 92 wins. That's some respect from them. Dodgers again 104. So yeah, what do they project us to excel in? All right, they project the homers. Oh my gosh, my mouse. They project the homers to increase a little bit, which is good. They still expect the Dodgers to completely mash. They expect us to, again, low runs against. Will be one of the league leaders in strikeouts. So let's see. They think we're going to have any top position players? Nope. Pitchers? Yes, they're projecting. See, they too are projecting a good year for Brady Singer. They're projecting the best year. Again, they did this last year with McKay. They're projecting again the best pitching season for Brendan McKay. So, like I said, if Singer and McKay can have top 10 years, and then you get some contributions from Kelly, you get May and Keller to beat the world, but to provide adequate rotation support. That's a deep rotation, and that is a 90 win team. So before we shut this video down here, let's go just meet the team. See these numbers here when I'm looking at team position rankings. These are a little bit higher than I would like. I would like, 5th and 6th is good, 2nd's good, but like this right here is not the makings of a 92 win team. Like finishing around the top 10 or, whatever. That's not a 90 win team. That's like an 80. That's like not 80. It's like an 83 win team, 84 win team. So we'll see if that changes over the course of the year, or if we get just major contributions out of Amaya, Gray, Kepler, and and McKay there. So I don't know. I'm interested. I think this is going to be a good year. Like I said, I feel more confident going in this year than I have focused on the team perspective than I have at all before. So I don't like the fact that we have bad relationships with some of our best players, though. That we'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, we'll see. We'll double check. But yeah, I'm ready to crush. So I'll see you guys in the next video. We will start off with the Milwaukee Brewers, and we'll go from there. See you guys. Thanks.